Brahma Baba's life, Brahma Baba's stories has been for me a lighthouse in my spiritual journey. A lighthouse that has helped me to see more clearly the destination, and especially in those moments where sometimes these dark clouds come into your path and you don't see so clearly, and maybe you don't know exactly how to move, where to go. Brahma Baba's life and activities were this lighthouse showing me the path, helping me to move forward. I feel Brahma Baba like a companion in this spiritual path. When I started more than 30 years ago, I was very attracted by his face in the picture that I saw in the center, there in Barcelona, in Spain. His face, especially his eyes, were expressing so much love, so much compassion, so much understanding that was a source of inspiration and a way of connecting with him. Before this spiritual journey, before coming to this knowledge, one of my favorite values was freedom. Still now also. I love freedom, but I understood freedom as doing what I want, fulfilling my desires, especially limited desires. So I did many things. And at the end, I found myself tied by all these actions that I did. And then when I came to Gyan, to knowledge, and I listened to these three words that Brahma Baba gave us as a legacy: bodiless, egoless, viceless, and I reflect on them, and I meditate on them, and I start to understand the meaning, the real meaning of these three beautiful words. I start to understand and to experience, especially in meditation, that these three words were giving me the experience of real freedom. This inner freedom, internal freedom. When I was meditating and feeling free from the body, feeling free from the ego, from the structure that I have created, this limited personality, and free from these vices, these old tendencies, negative tendencies that has given me sorrow and also have created sorrow for others. And also sometimes I added one more, it's timeless, so free from the bondage of time. So in meditation, feeling this free from body, free from ego, free from vices, free from time, and connecting with my original stage, just the soul, the spiritual being, free from everything. It's a beautiful feeling of peace, of fulfillment, even of contentment, of silence. Not so easy to achieve. So sometimes I got it. Sometimes it was not so easy. But as I said, Brahma Baba's life and Brahma Baba's words are like a lighthouse in my journey. I know what I need to do. I know now the destination. I know that he reached there. He was able to arrive there. And sometimes when the path is not so easy, the path sometimes becomes a little bit difficult, I see his face. I look into his eyes. And it's like he's talking to me and saying, come on, move forward. Don't stop. You can reach their destination. So for me, Brahma Baba has become like a friend, like a companion, like someone who is very close to me. And it's not so easy to explain in words. It's feeling his presence in my life. And always, even when I make some mistakes, I feel he's always looking at me with love, with compassion, with understanding. It's like he knows the path. He knows that sometimes it's not so easy because he has passed through this journey and he has a lot of experience and he has reached the destination. So he wants us to reach also and to become like him in this sense, to develop the same qualities. So I feel that he's very concerned and with a lot of care and attention to all of us. And I feel happy to have this companion. And also sometimes his activity, the stories that I've heard from him has helped me a lot in continuing this path. Because also the stories become some examples that we can follow. And especially sometimes are very simple things or very simple stories. But you can, if you go deep into them, you can see the deep effort that he did, the deep tapasya and meditation that he did to make it so simple, so easy, and so natural. I love Tai Chi. Tai Chi is movements, very slowly movements. And sometimes there are some competitions of Tai Chi. And they move so slowly, so simple exercise, simple movements in a natural way. But if you try to repeat these movements, are so difficult because you realize that in this simplicity, in this naturality, in this authenticity, there is a lot of training, there is a lot of attention, there is a lot of concentration to reach this natural stage. So I feel Brahma Baba reached this natural stage of doing things in a very easy, natural, and simple way. But behind that was a deep training, deep effort, deep attention, deep focus. So, some examples of his life that I remember and helped me in my journey, connected with these three words, bodiless. The story that I remember is, they say that at the end of his life especially, when he was in a meeting, listening to service news or to something to organize, he was very present, very attentive, but suddenly it's like he was beyond. He was detached. And people around him could feel this energy of detachment. And then he came back and brings some very special energy of silence, of spirituality. So this is an example for me to follow. I'm still working on that. It seems so easy, but it's not so easy. I used to get very involved in things, in conversation, in reacting also to some comments of other people. So remembering this story of Brahma Baba, I remind myself sometimes during the meeting, during the conversation, just go inside, become bodiless. Because when you are bodiless, you are also disconnected or detached from what is happening outside. And in this stage, you can connect with your peace, with your light, you can connect with the Supreme, with the Divine, and then bring a different energy. And when I'm able to do this, I see the impact of this energy in the conversation, in the meeting, and the relationship with others. And it's really very helpful in these situations. So I have this story as a lighthouse showing me how to act in these situations that are very, very normal in my life, meetings, conversations, relationships. So it's very practical. The second one about egoless. I remember the story, and this story is like I was there. When I heard the story, I love it, but when I explain this story to others, it's like I'm seeing this story. I'm seeing this situation as if I was there. And the story is very simple. His lucky brother came to see him and he was very upset. So he was talking to him in a very harsh way, in a very strong way, in a very tough way. And Brahma Baba was listening, was quiet, was giving respect to his brother. And the young daddies were there around. And at the end, when his brother left, they say after 45 minutes, speaking all the time in this way, the young daddies say, "Oh, Baba, why you didn't respond and say," because he was saying wrong things also, were not true. And he looked at them with a lot of love and said to them, "Failed, you have failed." He came just to check my tolerance power. So I was checking inside myself, how was my tolerance power? So I felt it was good. So I remember this situation because, as I said before, my tendency is to get involved in the conversation. My tendency is to listen what the other person is saying and sometimes becoming a little bit reactive. So remembering this situation helps me a lot in becoming introverted, bringing the attention inside. And you are listening, but your attention is not in what the other person is saying, but is internally observing what is happening inside yourself and checking if your level of tolerance is enough or not, or you have to practice more. And sometimes I can feel some emotional movement, but when my attention is inside, I can manage this emotional movement and remain quiet again. So this example of Brahma Baba's life helped me again like a lighthouse, remembering him, he did it, he was focused inside, he was practicing the tolerance power, so I can do the same. And this is a technique, very useful and very practical. And the third example is about viceless. And I heard this story that they said that when someone was behaving in a bad way, expressing some of the vices in the community, some other souls came to Baba and explained the situation, saying, "Oh, Baba, this brother or this sister was behaving in a bad way and she was doing, or he was doing this or that." And they say that Brahma Baba was not correcting that soul. And on the contrary, he was saying, "Okay, good, thank you for the information." And he was going more deep inside himself, and he took as a personal responsibility to finish with any trace of this vice, of these bad behaviors in him, so that when he did the work, his vibrations can influence the other person. So I was surprised when I heard this, how he took the responsibility for the change of others in himself. He was so responsible for going deep inside and transform himself so deeply that his vibrations then can affect others and help others to transform themselves. I must say that I'm still working on this quality, but I admire Brahma Baba, how he was able to do this. And well, when I see something wrong happening outside, I try not to react, but not so easy for me still to go so deep inside and to transform myself to such an extent that I can help others also to transform. But again, this situation, this story, it's like a lighthouse in my life, so that I can remember the story and reminding myself, it's possible, it's possible. You need to practice more. You need to go more deep, but it's possible. You can achieve it. He achieved it. And I can see in his face, saying to me also, "Come on, do it again, try it again. Do more effort, go more inside, become more generous-hearted." And this is another quality that I admire from Brahma Baba, his big heart, his generosity, not only in giving things and external things, but his generosity of attitude, accepting all the people as they were, and having such love for everyone, and helping everyone to move forward. And as I said before, for me, and it's not so easy to explain because it's very subtle, but for me, he's very alive. He's very close. And sometimes he also not only gives love, but sometimes I can see his a little bit stern eye saying, Enrique, you need to change this. You need to improve this. So it's like a good companion that wants the best for you, that has a lot of love and compassion because he understands the journey. And I feel he understands me personally. So this is a source of inspiration, and especially in this month of January, I enjoy very much this month, and I like it very much because it gives us the opportunity to go a little bit more deeper, be more in silence, be more introverted, and connect with these beautiful qualities that Brahma Baba gave us as a legacy. So I invite you to reflect on these words: bodiless, egoless, viceless, and experience this beautiful internal freedom that gives the experience of these three words. Om Shanti.